This is another cornerstone. It's on page 12. It's called pure form thinking. The principle of pure form thinking, and this is where this differs from brainstorming, is first of all, you separate the generation of ideas from the analysis. And it does both well, but separately, under different time frames. So the ideal is we generate for an hour, and then we take a break, and then we analyze, judge, and select. Every time you do that, you get higher level thinking going on in a group. And so the trick is to know when to do it, what's happening when you do it, and to be able to manage that process. And you can see under the chin of that face where it says mixing, that's when you do the two simultaneously. So in the exploration phase, you can see the words there: generate, explore, provoke, entertain, even entertaining ideas. It's not saying make a decision. Will you just hear it? How often have you been in groups where you say, will you just give my idea a consideration? You've seen it. People will have an idea half formed on their lips. It's not even out, and the wrath of God comes down upon them, ripping them to shreds. Am I talking foreign talk? Does this happen in any place? Any of you ever seen that? Once in your life, maybe? Yes, sit there, blasting it out of the air. What's that?
People do it.
Yeah, it's like the national sport. And I can tell you how many ideas you would have received, Kaufman's, or you would have received, Amy, if the people were sitting there judging, evaluating, criticizing every idea that came out. None. That's what happens because people begin then to withdraw, they hold back, and especially the bold, fresh ideas won't even reach the breath of fresh air. Because people are going to protect their egos long before they get, they're out there doing things for the organization and the corporation. People aren't stupid. If they've been beat up, what happens? They withdraw, they pull back. But if you're really trying to crack issues, you need that openness and honesty, and pure form helps. Is it perfect? No, but it's a pretty darn good alternative to what goes on normally. So the issue is on one side, you're over there generating, and do that well. And there's a whole flock of things you can do to do that better, and we cover some of them here, and in advanced courses we do many more, and you'll pick some of these out in the readings. Then at another time you go over and do the judgment and the selection and the sequencing and the analyzing and categorizing of ideas. When you're in a highly creative session and people are going, oh, it doesn't fit under there, it fits over there. No, it doesn't fit over there, it fits over there. They're not in pure form. They're trapped in their logic pattern. It's a cue to you. You say, just relax, who cares? We'll straighten it out later. Look at the phrases on page 13. Do you ever hear any of them? The one that drives me crazy, it's like a fingernail on the old blackboards, is number 26. You ever hear that in a group? Well, we can't do that because we've never done that before. Isn't that scientific? I heard that in a research organization one time. I thought, hey. Well, that's what their business is to do things that haven't been done before. But when it came to their own internal operations, they had all these kind of things. So everything in here, all of these things that turn off the creative spigot during the exploration phase, during the focus phase, they're important. It's when are you applying them? And that's being in the pure form mode. When you're out into exploration, relax these things, neutralize these things. People say, well, I can't come up with a 10-level idea because we don't have the money. That's when you need to come up with a 10-level idea and figure out what to do because you don't have the money. It's a lifestyle, it's not a technique. It's not printing on little cards and pinning them on boards. That's like saying software. a computer is the box. It's in the software. That's the design, and it's in the peopleware. And that's what we're talking about here. Down at the bottom, the nonverbals. I have to tell you, I'm not big on nonverbal communications. Is anybody doing it? Oh, don't move. Don't move. Renee, everybody look. See how Renee is sitting? What does that mean? She's closed off.
No, she's cold.
Okay, well, yeah, in this room it means you're cold. But people will say, if you're sitting like that, it means you're withdrawn, you're psychically not engaged, you're not part of it, you're against us, and all that kind of stuff. As opposed, well, Brad is, we know, sitting back there. But you know what that could mean? Nothing. It could mean the chair doesn't have arms on it. It could mean you just like to sit that way. It could mean you're cold. To sit here and play amateur psychologist, I think, is really dangerous. It's kind of like give people their space. You know what it means when people roll their eyes in the back of their head? Have you ever seen any of the neuro-linguistic programming? If you roll it back here, it means you're accessing, your right hemisphere. And that. I think unless you are a trained therapist, it's awfully dangerous to go down that pathway. The real issue is just pay attention to process, give people their space. And when you get into pure form thinking, work to have the environment where people will observe the guidelines. And these little things, and whatever you create, but these artifacts help deal with the behavior. They serve like a whistle in a soccer game or a flag in a football game. And it'd be criminal, wouldn't it, to have one of our kids out on the field playing ball and the referee didn't have any instrument to deal with the behavior. They're running all over the place. Or you watch professional football players, 300 pounds. They're running, full speed at each other. And here comes somebody skipping down the field. They toot on a little whistle and they throw a hanky in the air. And what happens? What happens? Because everybody knew the rules, everybody stops because it was pre-negotiated. And all of that behavior is embedded in the artifact. And it works. But you can't just do it. You have to negotiate it and explain it and get agreement ahead of time, and then people understand it. People sit in meetings where the combative organizational life goes on without any guidelines. That's why we have them. It's not just some thing. It's based on pretty solid principles. And the principle of the artifaction. Buckminster Fuller, and have any of you read or studied any of his stuff? One of my favorite quotes is, you don't confront an attitude directly. What you do is create an artifact that instantly neutralizes the previous behavior. The artifact neutralizes the behavior. If everybody knows this and what it serves as, and you apply it, you'll just see people laugh and relax and they get with it. Same way the flag in the football game. Those who are my age and older and or close to it in this room, we were raised in the analog time. And those who are younger who are raised in digital time. Because we say things like half past the hour. And our kids say it's 4:26. The attitude towards time has been changed by the artifact. And that's why this works, because it's displacement artifaction.